All right, today I am joined by rap legend Capone. Capone, how you doing today, sir?
I'm good, man. Snowed in, but I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Taking it easy over there.
Nice. So 2020, 2021, we're living in pretty crazy times. How have you been? What have you been up to?
I've been good, man. You know what I'm saying? I still been grinding, man. 2020 was definitely a disastrous year for everybody. You know what I mean? But overall, you know what I'm saying? I just been happy to be lucky to stay in tune with my fans. You know, do a lot of interviews, and you know, I've lost people along the way. But other than that, you know, COVID, trying to stay safe and just trying to stay productive and look forward to 2021 right now and just move forward and try to get the ship sailing in the right direction.
So you're working with Daz Dillinger currently?
Yeah, man, Daz is doing an album called Guidelines, and you know, we doing this for basically like the hip hop culture for East and West Coast, and you know, that's my bro. You know what I'm saying? We two different coasts, two different styles of rap, but we linked and we're about to make history.
Excellent. So you're of course from a classic duo yourself, Capone-N-Noreaga. He's from the Dog Pound. Is there any part of you, like a competitive side, that almost wants to outdo previous material?
Oh, definitely. It's always competitive. You know what I'm saying? I be trying to whoop on Daz when I go in the studio. You know what I'm saying? But you know, the whole thing is we never had no real beef. So when people look at us and see like Capone and Daz working or Nori and Corrupt working, it was never no real beef between Dog Pound and CNN. We didn't even know each other. You know what I'm saying? When we
Okay.
dropped those records. So now, you know, years later, and you know, before now, leading up to now, we've crossed paths numerous times, but it was never, you know, crossing paths to the fact to where let's do something together to the last time we met. But it's always a competitive nature when I get in the studio with Daz because it's like, you know, I want the both of us to show our partners that we got this. You know what I'm saying? So you know, it's all love though. It's all love.
Definitely. So when New York came out, great song. LA came out. Neither yourself or Daz had any exception you took with each other.
Nah, nah. Like the thing was, Daz wasn't even on the record for one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Daz wasn't even on the record. He was in a video, but he wasn't on the
Yeah.
record. But the whole thing about it was that was me and Nori's introduction to hip hop. You know what I'm saying? That was our that the Dog Pound was already staple from the Chronic,
Doggy
from
style.
Doggy Style, you know, from Dog Food. They was already stamped. Me and Nori was new to the game. We had to find an edge to get in the game and make a mark right away. And that's what we did. We said, oh, these dudes is coming at us from the West Coast. And we waited though. We actually waited to see who would go back at them from, excuse me, from this side. And nobody did it. So our first thought was go in. And we went at them and they got a rave huge response. And I always say this, but thanks to the Dog Pound, man, no, we got a record deal. You know what I'm saying? Like Daz and
Wow.
Corrupt actually helped got us get us a record deal. Because if they didn't make New York, we would have never made LA. You know what I mean? So
Wow.
it's crazy. It's crazy. They actually helped us get a record deal.
That's crazy that you actually acknowledge that they actually helped put you on the map because of that song.
Yes, yes. And I tell everybody, like if it wasn't for them, like we'd have probably had it 10 times harder because you know, sometimes in music you need a gimmick. You need a something to attach to, you know, to give you that extra buzz. And you know, some people have people like the Dog Pound had Snoop, Memphis Bleak had Jay-Z. You know, everybody got something to attach to. Me and Nori just had me and Nori. And you
Hmm.
know, even though we had Tragedy Khadafi, he wasn't a Jay-Z, he wasn't a Nas, he wasn't, you know, that caliber of an artist at the time he was getting on. But the benefit was I was from Queensbridge. Noah's from Left Right. We was both from Queens. So when we made that response, it was just like boom. And then the dog panel was like, shit, I wish I could have seen him and thanked him. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, good looking. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
hilarious.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for Dog Pound, man, me and Nori probably would have never existed. We would have probably existed, but who never knows the route we would have had to take or the length of time it would have took us to get on. We might have missed the whole curve that we made it in.
Sure. What's your favorite Dog Pound song?
Oh man, I got mad. Like I like Let's Play House. You know, I like
Hard to beat that.
uh, yeah, I like, New York, New York, shit, I could go on, man. I could go on. And you know what's crazy though, is because I don't know a lot of titles of the
Sure.
song because naturally I'm an East Coast G. You know what I'm saying? Like we wasn't
Of course.
just like how they wasn't on us like that. We wasn't on the title, but the songs I can sing word for word. Like I know all the songs. That's why Daz be bugging out when we be in the studio and I might hear something. He like, "There, you know that record? Yeah, I know that record." You know what I'm saying? Well,
Yeah.
I ain't no slouch in this. You know what I'm saying? But overall, Dog Pound music to me is staple West Coast music. Like I think everybody from the West Coast at one point took something from the Chronic, from Doggy Style, and from Dog Food.
Another crazy story throughout hip hop that I feel a lot of people for some reason still don't know about. So Biggie
Mhm.
was ready to sign you to Junior Mafia, but not N.o.r.e. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Big wanted to sign. Like what happened? I'm gonna take you down the road, but like we was in the car. We heard Biggie, meaning me, Nori, and Tragedy. We was in the car. We heard Biggie on Hot 97, and we was like, "Yo, let's go round for him." So me, I'm like, "Whatever." Nori like, "Whatever." So we pull up the Hot 97, and as soon as we pull up, we see the Lexus Land Cruiser. See, everybody know if you was from New York at that time, Big had the burgundy Lexus Land. You know what I mean? So we seen the Land Cruiser, so we knew he was there. This is not like today where an artist will go to Hot 97 or pre-record his interview and then they'll air it. You know what I mean? Thanks to me and Nori, we stopped the in-house interviews, but that's another story.
Oh,
But big, we got there. Big was still on the air, so he came down, and as he coming down, I see D-Rock with him, see C's with him, and I'm like, yo, I want to ride for you. You know what I'm saying? So me and Nori, he like, yo, who y'all? We like, yo, Capone-N-Noreaga. He already knew Trash. You know what I'm saying? Because Trash was Trash. He already knew Trash, so he was like, oh, well, I think I heard of y'all. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. So we like, yo, we want to ride for you. So Nori kicked some, I kicked some. He was like, y'all hot, but I want to fuck with you. Like I want to deal with you. So I'm like, I kind of felt bad, but it also gave me a boost. It gave Nori a boost. It made Nori want to go harder, and it made me feel like my head was big as hell. You know what I'm saying? So after that point, we didn't see Big for a while. Then I wound up going to South Carolina to do a show, and Big was on the lineup. It was Big, Mobb Deep, Nas, Keith Murray, Mr. Cheeks. It was a big show in North Carolina that my man Ice put together, and my man Knowledge they put it together. And Big missed his flight that day, so we had to push the show back another day, whatever. So the next day, Big comes. He makes his flight. He comes in the room. We all in Nas' room. He sees Nas, and he tells Nas, "Yo, I'm looking for this dude named Capone from Queensbridge. You know him? He rap all this shit." So Nas is look like nah. So they like, you don't know Capone? Like he's with this dude N.o.r.e. So Nas like, yeah, I know Capone N.o.r.e., but Capone right there, he a shooter. Big turns around and go, oh shit, that's him right there. So for the rest of the night, I was a stage whore. I was on Nas set, I was on Mobb Deep set, I was on Biggie set, I was on everybody's set. You know what I'm saying? So that was my first crazy show experience, but Big definitely. And the thing that made it dope was that he remembered me because we didn't see him for months and months after that meeting at High 97, and he remembered. So he was looking for me. I was on his radar. And he wanted me to sign with Junior Mafia. And I was like, I don't know about that because everybody's from Brooklyn. I'm from Queens. I don't want to be the only one. They going Brooklyn in the house, and I'm going Queens. You know what I'm saying? That's not gonna work.
hmm.
So
So
eventually,
you turned it
we got
down?
cool. Yeah, I turned it down. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
On advice of Trage, and just my homies being around me, like, nah, we doing our Queens thing. Queens is too strong right now for you to go and sign with somebody from Brooklyn, even though it's big. But
Sure.
if he would have said I wanted to sign you as an artist, I'd have been like, that might have happened. But once he said I want to sign you and put you in Junior Mafia, I was like, nah. You know what I'm saying? And no disrespect to Junior Mafia, But at the time, I had a different agenda, and I was from Queens. Sometimes you got to stand on your own too.
I was about to say poor Nori, but you're almost saying it was a blessing because it made him step his game up when he didn't want to necessarily do work with Biggie or Big didn't want him.
Yeah, like like what happened was that just made Nori realize that you got to also understand at this time, me and Nori both coming out of jail, so we are looking at rap as a way out, but not actually feasible. Like we're looking at other rappers, like they made it, Mobb Deep, Akinelli. We both got people from our projects that we can look at and say they made it. But for us, it just don't seem feasible for two street dudes coming out of jail, both from shooting people, to get a record deal. That's not how hip hop worked at the time. Hip hop worked for true artists at the time. Everybody was an actual artist. You know what I'm saying? So it worked for Nori. It made him realize that we got to go harder. It made me realize that, okay, I got something. And, eventually it helped both of our careers, that one incident.
Excellent. So almost anybody else in that situation, an up and coming rapper, has any type of
Mhm.
deal with Biggie is going to jump on that opportunity. So what advice
Yep.
Tragedy gave you? You must really respect him, and that's great advice for him to tell you something because that's kind of outside of the box. You listened and it worked.
Yeah. Like, Tr- I brought Nori to the table. Trash brought me to the table. He had a vision for me. I had a vision for myself. And then when Nori came home, uh, Trash was just basically like, listen, I got this. I'm gonna get you a situation because when Nori came home from jail, I came home before Nori. It wasn't Capone and Noreaga. Like it was always Capone. Like I had situations that I was moving forward in with just Capone. You know what I'm saying? So when it became a Nori situation, Trash was just like, listen, I got this. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make sure y'all get a situation. Just give me some time. Be patient. Stop hustling. And we said we did with everything else, but we can't stop hustling. You know what I'm saying? Because I gotta eat. You know what I mean? So eventually, Travis was like, "Yo, don't worry about the Biggie situation. You ain't gonna be the only Queens dude in the Brooklyn group because that'll be a downfall. Unless he's trying to make you a solo artist, then it's not gonna work." And Trash basically laid the law down and let me understand how the game works of being in a group, of being, because like I said, I had solo aspirations at the time. You know what I'm saying? But Trash made me understand what being in a group feels like because he was part of the Juice Crew. And then he made me understand what a solo artist feels like. And then he made me understand what it feels like to be an outcast in the group. So I said, nah, you know what? I'm gonna stick to the script. I'm gonna stick with you. And he made it work.
So 97, your album, The War
Mhm.
Report, drops. The absolute classic. Tell me about that.
Yeah, the War Report dropped in 97, June 97. I was in jail, fresh on my bed. I got locked up in November 99. I mean, November 96. And I was fresh on my bed. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to jail. I'm not knowing how the album is going to do. I'm not there for the promotion. I'm not there for a lot of things, songs, and just unfortunate. But when 97 hit, all right, from 96, the end of 96, the beginning of 97, I'm still, you know, finding my way in jail and everything. So I'm not really concentrating on what's going on outside as far as my album. But I do, call in the street. They're like, yo, they playing LA, or T.O.N.Y is buzzing right now. And all a label could do for me is send me a notebook with some stickers in it, for my promotional items. That was the only way I could get my promo items if they stuck it on a magazine or stuck it on a notebook. So that's the way I was getting all my promo. So that's how I was seeing my promo. But, when the album finally came out, it was like, holy shit. Like, I went from Capone in jail, bidding Capone in jail, to Capone in jail, like to the rapper, to MTV coming to see me, to BT, to every magazine you name want me to write articles. And I went from that, I went from a regular inmate to the superstar inmate in approximately 6 months. I went from being like oh yo, I think that's the dude Pone right there, to everybody like Pone. I'm on the wall, Pone, COs, Pone, you need more food, you need whatever. I went 6 months. War Report changed my life totally. And it was crazy because me and Nori was going through separate life changing situations at the same time. Like he was when the war report dropped, he was on the street, but the money wasn't there like that. So he people looking at him like, yo, the war report is out. Why are you still living in the hood or whatever, whatever? And then for me, I'm in jail and I'm getting the dog. I know you wish you was on the street. Your album's out, you know. So it was a crazy time for me, '97, man. It was definitely like surreal to see like all right, my albums get this acclaim, and then to see people in jail order my album, and then I gotta sign all these albums. They getting autographs. Like you made it, dude. Like so now I got CEOs buying the album just to get my autograph because I'm in their face. You know what I'm saying? So it was definitely surreal for my album to come out and me be in jail, N.o.r.e. to be on the street. It made a big difference in my life. It made a big difference.
Wow. I couldn't imagine. So you work your butt off. You have this dope album about to drop. You have
Mhm.
the record deal. You have this great album release party, and you're stuck in jail. I mean, what went through your head? How did you handle that?
Ah, shit. I was stressed. I was stressed as hell. But, for me, the good thing about it is I had a great supporting cast and Penalty Recordings and then my family. You know what I'm saying? Like, Penalty, shout out to Neil Levine, Martin Moore, Karen, Mayhem, Zenobia, uh, Karen, I don't know if I mentioned Karen, but it was just so much of a dope supporting team at Penalty that they made sure that I felt the love. That was more important for me than anything. Just feeling to know like y'all didn't forget about me because I'm in jail. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm 1,000 miles away, but I'm still was thought of. I still was like they do an interview, they made sure the interviewer mentions me or mention, so it was hard, but it was also I felt the love. I felt like don't worry, I got you. I felt that don't worry, I got you from N.o.r.e., from everybody at the label. So it made my bidding easier, and it made me uh more easier to not have to whoop nobody ass when I come home because they didn't shit it on me. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Were you ever in any type of altercation, maybe in jail, but you pull the Capone-N-Noreaga card? We're like, oh, don't mess with him. This is Capone. Did you hear about him?
Oh hell yeah, that happened numerous times. You in jail, you in jail. People gonna try to test you for whatever reason. Because the funny thing is my name was out there more than my face.
Yeah.
So a lot of people was like, yo, it's Dr. Capone, Capone. But it was no social media then. So it wasn't like uh you could just Google a person and then they pop up. Nah, like you people, I didn't have a video on MTV. I didn't have all that at that point. You know what I'm saying? But I was in every magazine. So my label was sending me all the magazines. So in order to actually get a grasp of who my caliber of hip hop, I had to show my magazines. You know what I'm saying? So the CEO's like, I'm like, so they like, oh, you in this magazine? I'm like, yeah, they see me in the magazine. That's all it took. You know what I'm saying? It just to see me in a few magazines and things of that nature, and see Buster Rhymes mention me on TV, Fat Joe Pun, and I'm in jail. It was humongous. You know what I mean? It was crazy.
Let's talk about your classic hit, T.O.N.Y.
T.O.N.Y, Nasheem Myrick, Carlos Broadway, they produced that record, and that record was like one of those records where I didn't even like T.O.N.Y at first
Really?
because I didn't understand hip hop. You know what I mean? I didn't understand hip hop. I understand making records, but I didn't understand sonically how one song can change your life, and then just the things that could change a song. Because from the T.O.N.Y the world heard is not the T.O.N.Y we actually originally recorded. So
Okay.
that's why I wasn't big on T.O.N.Y so crazy because a lot of things got added in along the way. So the T.O.N.Y, and mind you, like I said, I was in jail. So I wasn't even home for the final mix of T.O.N.Y. I wasn't even home for the release of T.O.N.Y. So when I heard the final mix of T.O.N.Y, I was like, holy shit. this is amazing. You know what I'm saying? And that was one of our biggest joints, T.O.N.Y. You know what I'm saying? But I just didn't think that was gonna be the record that it was. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy thing about the whole shit, I was home for the T.O.N.Y. video shoot, but we shot the video to the original version of T.O.N.Y., not the version that you hear. The lyrics was the
Okay.
same. The lyrics was the same, just the production changed a little. So,
Okay.
and then the video shoot, oh my God. We That was probably the illest video shoot I ever been on in my life because me and N.o.r.e is dressed up as police and we actually shot the video at a courthouse. So it was a dude late for court and he's running. So he runs up to me and N.o.r.e. He goes, "Oh my God, I'm late for court. Which way to go in? I don't want to be arrested me. They said if I don't make it, they're gonna give me a warrant." So I looked at N.o.r.e., I gave him a nod, and I pulled out my handcuffs. Like N.o.r.e. pulled out his fake gun, and
Oh
was
my
like, "Yo,
goodness.
you got to go to jail, man." He started crying. I don't want to go to jail. I'm
Poor
like, "Oh
guy.
shit, yeah." I said we might be going too far. So we did that. We messed with him for like 5 minutes, and then we like, "Yo, we're not even real police, man. We just shooting music video." He's like, "Oh shit!" But the whole thing is, he was already late. So now, after he leaves, me and N.o.r.e. like, "Damn, what if we got him locked up?" Because he was already late, and then he just spent probably 10 minutes messing with us. We like, damn, we never seen him again though. So whoever that person is, if you see this interview and it was you that we fucked with, that was our bad. But hopefully they didn't get arrested.
Yeah, shout out to that guy. On behalf on Capone-N-Noreaga, they apologize for trying to impersonate a
Shout out to
police
him.
officer.
So, what is the difference between Capone and N.o.r.e. the group versus Capone the solo artist and N.o.r.e. the solo artist?
Capone-N-Noreaga, the group, you know what I'm saying? We're like hot and cold. We're like night and day, opposites and the magnets. Like we're two totally different individuals. But N.o.r.e. the solo artist, he's more charismatic. He's more of a funny record maker. Excuse me. Capone, the solo artist, is more of a lyricist. Is more of a perfectionist. Is more of a I like a little bit of different type of records. You know what I'm saying? I might have could have had Pharrell beat or not saying I don't like a Pharrell beat, not saying I wouldn't take a Pharrell beat, but maybe Nori that might have been his wave. You know what I'm saying? I like other waves. So me and Nori as solo artists, we're like the opposite sides of magnets. You know what I'm saying? But us as a group, we it's like this. You know what I'm saying? And it works. It works tremendously because you'll never get two back to back same sound of verses on a CNN record. It would never happen because you just we sound two totally different. And sometimes that works. And well, not sometimes, most of the times it works.
So, of course, you and Nori are a hot duo. You're working with Daz, another hot duo. So, at what point does something click where you're like, oh, dang, we have something here, and you decide to become a group?
We was in Vegas. Shout out to my man Jack Thriller. We was at Jack Thriller birthday party, and that's when we first connected on music. And we said, let's make a record. So we was like, yo, all right, when you get back to LA, send me something. I said, when I get back to New York, I'm gonna send you something. And I sent him this record called Startender. And man, when he sent that record back, I was like, holy shit. I think this sound is unheard of. An East Coast sound dude, a West Coast sound dude on one record together, but it's sonically was amazing. And then we wound up doing two records, and the next record we did was LA, New York, New York. And that record we heard was like, all right, we might sound better than Capone and Nori. We might sound better than Daz and Corrupt. C&D, you know what I'm saying? So, we was joking about it, but at the end of the day, it became like we set out to do something special, and we're 25 songs in right now, 5 videos. Uh, we're more than like a lot of people think like when people make albums and they're bi-coastal or they're cross-coastal or they're in different cities, whatever. You just send them the songs. That's how it actually works these days. But for me and Daz, it was the first two songs we sent because we feeling each other out. Then I was like, nah, I'm coming to LA, man. I'm coming to LA. And I went to LA. He picked me up from the airport, went to his crib, took a shit in his crib, took a shower, You know what I mean? Got dressed, and that solidified our homeboy status. You know what I'm saying? And that's my brother for life.
Now, there's definitely moments in your career where you guys did your own thing. Now, can you think of times where you guys just truly could not stand each other?
I was, it was, yeah, it definitely was. Like, and let me tell you something. No group, if a group, any group ever tell you that they ain't never beef or they didn't have periods where they just didn't get along, they're lying. Because I know
Okay.
people that got brothers and sisters that they don't get along. They go through spurts and things like that. So if you telling me that you ain't never get out with your partner, that's a lie. So definitely me and Nori went through our phases in life. From no, we known each other. I've known Nori since he was 13. I was 15. You know what I'm saying? And we're in our 40s now. You know what I'm saying? So this is not just like somebody I knew. Like we both spent the latter part of our adult years together, like literally from 15 to right now. And it's like he gonna get on my nerves. I'm gonna get on his nerves. Like I said, we're both two totally opposite. But one thing is that people don't really know that N.o.r.e's kids are actually my blood. He was married to my first cousin, my mother's
Oh,
sister's daughter. Yeah, we're deeper than partners. Like his kids could give me a kidney or liver or whatever I need because we're the same bloodline. You know what I'm saying? And his he has three kids by my cousin. You know what I'm saying? So it's not one kid, it's not two kids, it's three kids. So even when we was arguing, even when we was going through our stuff, we had to see each other on Thanksgiving. We had to see each other on Christmas. We had to see each other because it was either at his house or my house. You know what I'm saying? And I'll go to his house and won't say shit to him. I'll go talk to my family, you know what I mean? In his house. But all it takes is a blunt and a bottle of wine or something, and we back on, and then we cool for the moment, and then I might not speak to him for 2 weeks. We go through that. But one thing it is real love. Though we'll never, you know what I'm saying, put our differences before our family. You know what I'm saying, because we're actually family.
right.
So we definitely went through hiatus points, especially like in '06. I think it was '06, before '06. But we definitely was beefing hard at one point. You know what I mean? But that's love. That's what love do. That's what love do. You get divorced sometimes, you get married back again. It happens.
Speaking of breakups and splits, in 2000 you come out with your album, The Reunion. What's the difference between that album in 2000 versus The War Report?
Shoot, album two I was totally home for. You know what I mean? Album two was like the War Report was me and Nori baby. But the reunion was more like my baby because it was my first time. Nori got to experience the highs of hip hop in '98 and '97. '99, me coming home, that was my turn to experience the highs. It was funny because when I came home, Nori's like, "Yeah, I got the GS Lex and all this moving." I'm sitting there, and they come and get me with the tour bus limo, 10,000 cash, cases of liquor, pounds of weed, and boxes of clothes. And I'm like, ooh, so I see his GS, and I'm like, damn, I got to get a car, but I had to get my credentials straight. I'm fresh out of jail. And, we getting the deal straight, we getting everything. And I go in the studio for the first time as a rich artist. You know what I'm saying? I my studio sessions for the reunion album was rich studio sessions. We got food budgets, we got liquor budgets, we got now I got a band. No, we got the Lex. I recording that album was way different than recording the War Report. The War Report I had drug money. The reunion, I had rap money. Like I actually was living in a high rise. I actually had the things that I didn't think the War Report could get me. And then the War Report got me, and now coming home and it's time to record the reunion. I took full advantage of making the reunion my pet project. That was more of how I felt. That was more of me giving the world all of me, not miss a record, not be on no records, not go to jail. You got all of me on a reunion.
So one of my favorite songs, any genre, any year, has to be "Y'all Don't Wanna." Please tell me about that classic song.
Yeah, y'all don't want it. It's crazy, man, because how that record came about was one of my favorite records is what these chicks want from a dude. You know what I'm saying? From can I curse?
Curse away, my friend.
All right, cool, cool. Because I was trying to be clean. I didn't know what
You're
was
good.
going on. But yeah,
Appreciate that. Thank you. You're good.
yeah, all up. When I first heard what these bitches want from a nigga, I was like, I love this song, that DMX joint. I was like, oh my god. And then I never knew that Nokio produced it.
Mhm.
So when I heard the record, I'm like, ooh, oh. So just so happened one day I bump into Nokio and he like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I fuck with you and N.o.r.e, whatever, whatever. I want to do a joint for y'all. I'm like, I bet. So he sent some joints. And then he was like, you like the joints? I'm like, yeah, but one of them sound like what these bitches want from nigga. That's one of my favorite records. He said, I produced that record. I said, oh, we in. And that's how y'all don't want to fuck with us came up. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, and I didn't even know. I didn't use it because it was a Nokio beat. I used it because it sounded like what these bitches want from nigga. Just so happened Nokio produced both. So it was
Wow.
amazing. Shout out to Nokio from Dru Hill, one of the dopest producers I know, man.
I was always a Dru Hill fan as well, but a lot of times when I think Dru Hill, I don't think Capone-N-Noreaga. So I always wonder where that
Yeah,
link
yeah.
came
I
about.
just was out and about. I was out, like I was club heavy at the time, and I bumped into him. But Nokio's real humble, cool dude, and he made it work immediately. Was so I love him for that.
So the last verse, you actually say, "You still live with mommy, still get allowance." Who were you talking about during that
That
part?
was to all the sucker hating ass niggas. You know what I'm saying? Everybody I was hating. You know what I'm saying? Like Pone that, know this, all that. Man, you still live with your moms, man. You still get allowance, man. You know what I mean? I be bubbling ounces, man. I ain't with the small talk. So that was for everybody that uh, doubted me and N.o.r.e. or doubted Pone per se. And I returned from a short stretch stuck in the mountains. What's this out here? This is our year. You know what I mean? That's exactly how I felt. You know what I mean? Like,
For sure.
I'm back.
In 2010, you had the War Report Part 2. So now what is the goal when you have a Part 2 to an album? Are you trying to keep the same theme or how do you change it up?
Uh, Part two was not sonically the same as part one, but sonically it was. It was more of to be honest, Raekwon just had dropped Cuban Links 2 at the time,
Mhm.
and it worked. I think he was the first part two album dude that it actually worked.
Gotcha.
And when that came out, we was like, everybody wanted us to make a War Report 2. So we tried to do it and follow Raekwon's basic pattern to success for the second album. And we had a lot of dope MCs on the album, a lot of dope artists on the album. And for whatever reason, it didn't pan out the way Ray's panned out. But it was just a lot of middlemen, a lot of things involved in that. But the War Report 2, to me, it's crazy. It's crazy. And that was another album that I took a lot of pride in because I wasn't there for the first one. So I took a lot of pride in making the War Report 2. But I think we're going to re-release it too. Actually, we're going to re-release it on the Capone-N-Noreaga fan page because we're about to get the rights to that album back, and a lot of things is going on.
Now, when you say re-release, what exactly does that mean? Do you add to it? Do
Oh
you put
yeah,
some bonus tracks
adding
on there?
to it. You know what I'm saying? Adding a few things, taking a few things out. Just making like a deluxe edition. How everybody's releasing albums right now. It takes 2 months later doing the deluxe edition. So right now we just gonna because the more technology advances, the more you can have your music heard. And I think in 2010, technology and streaming and everything that where it's at right now wasn't in place. So we have a better way of benefiting of people hearing War Report 2 now than we did in 2010. And I think even it ain't even about selling it. It's about letting people hear it. Like people that may have missed it, that didn't really understand that, oh shit, War Report 2 is out. Because I still get people right now It's somebody in my DMs. It's somebody in my comments like, yo, we need a war report too. Like, motherfucker, I dropped that shit 10 years ago. You know what I mean?
Now, sometimes I'll talk to artists and they don't really appreciate the new technology and how easy it is to put music out there. Would you almost say you're the opposite because now you have maybe a little more flexibility? You can re release it, you can get the rights to it, and things along that nature?
Yeah, definitely, definitely, man. Like right now is the artist wave. Like you can be an artist. You don't have to be an artist and worry about the labels and the things of that nature because sometimes artists are smarter than the labels. You know what I mean? Like the thing is, every artist is not stupid, so they might not need a label. They might just need the opportunity or the what you call that the what word am I looking for? The outlets to make their project work. Look at what's his name? Chance the Rapper. Look at Tech 9. Look at a lot of independent artists that don't need majors because they're smart. Like, why go to a label to take my money just because y'all think I'm stupid, and then try to make stupid moves, jerk me for my paper, and then when I gotta fight y'all, it's like I'm doing something bad. Nah. So I think this is the smart rappers game. Like if you're a stupid rapper, then go ahead, be a stupid rapper. Go this stupid route. But right now it's the smart rapper route. Like the world is becoming accessible to artists now at our fingertips. Not at the expense of a label, not at the expense of a pub company. Not it's ours. It's ours. And it's just all you got to do is know your business, and you can win.
Can you think of something in the 90s or 2000s where somebody from a record label maybe wanted you to do something that you knew just wasn't going to work? You're like, dude, what are you talking about? It's a
Oh
terrible idea.
yeah. Shit, Tom Silverman. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Tom Silverman, you crazy motherfucker. But you know what I mean? Like that guy, he had ideas for CNN that definitely wasn't CNN. And that's what led us to our breakup with Tommy Boy. You know what I'm saying? Like he wanted what we didn't want. You know what I'm saying? He had a vision, but his vision was dated. You know what I'm saying? Like no disrespect to De La Soul. I love De La Soul.
Classic group.
I mean I loved them. And we already had this discussion. But for De La, for me to come home from jail, N.o.r.e. just come off the N.o.R.E. album and the Nova Friend album. We just finished the reunion album, and you bench us, and we got the craziest buzz ever. We got commercials, everything going for us right now. You bench us for De La Soul. It's like you got Jordan in your face, and then you go with Kwame Brown. Like, no
Right.
disrespect to De La, but it's like I'm not saying we're a better group than De La because we're two totally separate groups. I'm a De La
Sure.
fan, but at that moment, even De La Soul said, "Nah, we ain't want no parts of that." We was like, "Cone just coming home, let them go." But Tom Silverman and his fucked up ways and his fucked up train thoughts, he wanted to do what he wanted to do, and it hurt De La and it hurt CNN. So you know what I'm saying? Because he wanted to do it his way. He wanted us to do something that we didn't want to do, and that was fall back to daylight, knowing that we got the ultimate buzz right now, and you want us to wait another 6 months, and then when the album come out, we do like 150,000 records, 160,000 records our first week, which is great, phenomenal. But we should have did 500. All he had to do was put the album out 6 months because now all the clue tape freestyles, everything we done blew over. It done passed. So I just feel like that was something that Tom wanted us. He wanted us to chill and go behind daylight. And nah, we didn't want to do that. But hey, you know what I mean? We ordered $50,000 worth of shit and got the fuck up out of there.
Now, that's a good example of why timing is just so important throughout life and in music in general. I mean, Capone-N-Noreaga, red hot at the time, maybe not quite De La Soul's time. Again, we understand De La Soul's a legendary group, just might
Yeah,
not have been their
yeah.
time.
Like Tom Silverman, I'm not gonna kick him down, but I just think that if he had other help, other somebody else that he trusted, I don't think a lot of things would have happened that Tommy Boy happened. But he was just so self-centered. He ain't trust nobody. He fired Dan Hoffman, his friend of 20 years, like he never knew him. Call the police, told him to empty out his desk, had the police ex. You know, when you do shit like that, man, no good comes out of no situation. And I just think that Tommy Boy could have been a great label. It was a great label at one point. And then just Tom Silverman's ideologies and ways of thinking of how music, hip hop should be moving forward wasn't the way hip hop was trying to move forward. So everybody had a gripe at Tommy Boy. Naughty by Nature, the whole flavor unit, you know, everybody had gripes. Well, shit, I remember one time we go to Mr. Child's, and this is when Tom Silverman is telling us that he's getting rid of penalty recordings. But we like, you know, he like, yeah, I want to take you and n.o.r.e. I want to take, you know, certain artists. And just so happened that night, Queen Latifah was in Mr. Childs. And me and n.o.r.e. walks in and she grabs my jacket, was like pointing at Tom, like, watch him. He's no good. And sure enough, as soon as we sat down, we like, hey, Tom Silverman, you see Queen Latifah over there? His face was it was priceless. He was like, holy shit, like but you know, sometimes everything for everybody, man. And I just think hip hop wasn't for Tom Silverman.
Man, I almost wish that Tom Silverman would have hired somebody like a Tragedy to help out as an advisor in a situation
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this.
I mean, he should have hired somebody. You know what I mean? Because the people that he had working hip hop was basically all from Penalty.
Hmm.
You know, Geno Sims. You know, like they was all from Penalty that came with us. You know what I mean? He didn't have no real grasp on hip hop. Hip hop. His grasp on hip hop was dated. And then he didn't know what to do with us. He knew that we had a buzz. He knew he wanted to cut the middleman out. He knew he wanted all the money, but he didn't know what to do with it. He didn't know what to do with us. You know what I'm saying? So he should have just let us stay on Penalty, kept Neil Levine, kept us in our little sanctuary where we had, and he could have still got the same money he got or more, but he chose to cut everything off, and then everything just dissolved.
One more thing and I'll let you go. I saw early on you did some work with J.O. Felony. I was always a big fan of his. What can you tell me
Mm.
about J.O.?
Yeah, Jail Felony was there the day that I actually got into music, as far as being a rapper. As far as the, I was in Troy, New York, with my guy. Shout out my man Wonderful. You know what I'm saying? He's a Queens native, fellow rapper. Shout out to my man Wonderful again, man, because if it wasn't for Wonderful, I probably wouldn't be here right now talking to you. And this is real talk because Wonderful was a rapper too, and we was both getting money upstate New York. We was hustling together, and one day he was like, "Yo, I'm going to the studio." You know what I'm saying? I'm like, "I bet." So I'm gonna stay up here and get some money. So he goes down to the city, goes to the studio. Just so happened, I mean, backtrack. He said he was going to Jam Master Jay's studio. Let me make sure you understand how deep this moment is. So he said, "Yeah, I'm going to Jam Master Jay's studio." So I'm like, "I bet." So he gets there. So when he gets to the studio, J.O. Felony's there, and Traj walks in the studio. So my man Wonderful called me like, "Yo, Traj is here." Shit, nigga said, "What up?" Whatever. He want to holler at you. So I hollered at Traj. Traj like, "Yo, what up?" I ain't seen Traj in a long time at that point. So he was like, "Yo, come down." I'm like, "Yo, I'm 4 hours away." You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't come down like that. He's like, "Yo, just come down, man. I miss you, man. What with the whoop?" So make a long story short, Jail Felony was just like, "Yo, he in the background, like, yo, Paul, come down, man." You know, with the whoop. But at that time, he don't know me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not Capone the rapper at this time. You know what I'm saying? So Jail Felony he just egging me on, like, "Yo, Paul, come on, man." You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, fuck it. I get a crackhead to drive me 4 hours to New York City from Troy, New York. So I get there, walk in a session. It's Jam Master Jay, rest in peace. It's J.O. Felony, Traj, my man Wonderful. So we all in this session. So Jam Master Jay was like, "Yo, freestyle." So we like, rock it. I'm like, whatever. That's what I do best. I'm in. So Jam Master Jay threw on some beats, and we just went around in circles. Everybody kept going. So at the end of everything, Jam Master Jay was like, "Yo, you nice, wooty woo." But I was still rough around the edges because I wasn't an artist. You know what I'm saying? I was a street nigga. You know what I'm saying? So Trash is like, I see it. I got you. I didn't know you could rap. You real and you could rap. Bada boom, bada bing, bada boom. I'm like, yeah. So Trash like, I'm fucking with you, man. So he's like, yo, give me a year and I guarantee I have you a record deal, man. So I'm like, all right, whatever. But I didn't even think about that. You know what I'm saying? Jail felony. We all kept in contact, Jam Master Jay. And lo and behold, that's how I got my record. That's how my career started. From that day with Jail Felony, my man Wonderful and Jam Master Jay, my life changed from Capone the street dude to Capone the artist that day.
Wow. Cool. Well, Capone, absolute pleasure talking to you. Anything you'd like
I
to
got I
promote? How
got
can fans keep?
I got my own weed.
There
I
we
got
go.
my own weed. Shout out to
What's it
Capone
called?
and Dillinger weed. It's called Capone and Dillinger. LA, New York, New York. We promoting this record and a strain. And we got the only ones with a barcode on the weed where you can scan and go get the record. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So yeah, we promoting, man. We promoting, man. Shout out to my man Daz Dilly. You know what I mean? Shout out to Empire Records. You know, but if you're looking for me, you can catch me at Capone QB, the number 4 life on IG. You can catch me at Capone QB on Facebook. You can catch me at Capone QB on Instagram. I mean on Twitter. You can catch me at Capone and Dillinger on IG or at Capone-N-Noreaga on IG. And you can check out my clothing line page, Akasi Collection. This is my brand. This is my line.
Fresh.
Get, get yourself straight. I'm gonna make sure I get your shirt out to you, boss man. And let's
Absolutely.
have fun. Look great in this quarantining stage. And it's at Akasi Collection, like Kasi Collection. That's the IG page. For any inquiries, you can holler at Akasi Collection at gmail.com. That's everything right
Perfect.
there in a nutshell.
All right, Capone. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much for
fam.
your
I
time.
appreciate you for having me, man. I'm gonna definitely make sure I get some clothes to you, man. I
For
appreciate the
sure.
love and salute, man. God bless. Stay safe out there.